everyone, it's Becca. So here on my channel I do a lot of videos where I break down different aspects of my life, different routines, and I show you what I do to make them more eco-friendly, and today's video is no different. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all my sustainable laundry routine, but before we get into that I wanted to quickly remind you all to please subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. It really is the best thing you can do to support my channel, and it also ensures that you never miss any of my uploads, so I feel like it's just a win-win situation and I would really appreciate it so much. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about actually starts way before you're ever throwing your clothes into the washing machine, and that is wearing your clothing more than once before you wash it. Now, if you've never done this before, it might sound a little weird, but I promise it's not gross at all, with the exception of like underwear, socks, or really sweaty athletic wear. You really don't need to wash your clothing after every single wear. You can look up information about like how many times you can wear specific clothing before washing it, but personally I just kind of follow the general rule of wearing something twice before washing it. And the way I keep track of what clothing I've already worn once is I have little designated areas that I kind of think of as my worn once sections. So in my closet I just hang up my clothing behind my clean clothing, so I know the back of my closet is stuff I've worn once. Or for my folded stuff, I just put them on the opposite side of my cubby for my clean clothing. So it's really easy to keep track of that way. And the reason this is an eco-friendly thing to do is because it cuts down on the number of times you have to wash your clothing, which cuts down on the number of loads of laundry you have to do. So this is going to save water and energy, as well as the resources it takes to make detergent and all of those products. And it can also save you money, because if you're doing less loads of laundry, of course that can cut down on your utility bill as well. And finally, as if you needed another good reason to start wearing your clothes more before washing them, this is actually really good for your clothing, because every time you wash or dry your clothing, that process is putting stress on your clothing, which can cause them to wear out sooner, which then means that you're gonna have to discard them sooner, and that's not what we want. We want to extend the lifespan of our clothing as long as possible. That's just really critical to moving towards slower, more sustainable fashion, which you guys know I'm all about. So once I've worn an item twice and it is dirty, it's of course time to put it in my hamper, and recently I've started sorting my clothing by what material it's made out of. So if it's made out of a natural fiber, such as cotton, I just put that directly into my hamper. But if it's made of a synthetic fiber, such as polyester or elastane, I put them in my guppy bag, which I actually just recently got this. I showed it and a couple of other items in a haul in my last video, so I'll link that up here if you want to check it out. But basically, our clothing, when it's going through that kind of stressful process of being washed, it sheds microfibers. And when our clothing is made out of a synthetic material, which is usually plastic-based, it's actually shedding microplastics, which then get into the water of our washing machine and then eventually into our greater waterways, such as our lakes and our oceans. And I think we all know how bad of a pollutant plastic is, so obviously we don't want that. So a really easy solution to that is getting something like a guppy bag, because you put all of those pieces of plastic-based clothing in here, and the bag is actually able to trap those microplastics so that you can scoop them out and properly discard of them in a trash can. And if you don't want to go for a bag, I know there's also options that are like actual attachments you hook up to your washer that do the same thing, but if you're in college or renting like me, obviously a bag is probably a much more feasible option, but I'll try to link both ones down below so you can find whatever you're looking for. And so now our clothing has been sorted, our hamper is full, and it is of course time to actually wash our clothing, and we need detergent to do that. So currently I am using this one from Simple Truth, which is just a brand from Kroger, and I know there are options that are even more zero waste than this, such as drops or soap nuts, so I'll link some of those down below, but this is what I have, so I'm using it. And I haven't actually done the math, but I think that something like this can be more cost effective than those options, so it's all just about finding what's best for you. But what I like about this is that it's vegan and cruelty free. You all know those are like baseline requirements for me. But beyond that, it's also free from sulfates, parabens, and phosphates, and the container is made from 50% sugarcane and it's recyclable. So I feel like this is a good kind of middle of the road, low waste option if you're looking for something that's better than say a Tide Pod, but maybe you're not ready for whatever reason to go in the direction of something like drops. And so I figured I would just also add, if you're curious, I wash my laundry every single week, typically on Sundays, because I just think Sundays are a great day to do like household chores and just prepare for the week ahead. And doing my laundry every week is a good amount of time for me to actually have enough clothing to do a full load of laundry, because of course you want to make sure that your washer is actually full, otherwise you're just wasting water, energy, etc. And I do just throw all my stuff in together. I don't sort it by color or anything like that. And so far I haven't had any issues, but obviously do what you think is best. And so once I've added, you know, the amount of detergent I'm supposed to add, I of course need to decide what settings I'm going to wash my clothing on. So I always wash my clothing with cold water and on a normal cycle. So going for cold water obviously means that you don't have to waste energy heating up the water, and then doing a normal cycle is shorter than other cycles. So again, that's saving water and energy as well. And as you guys know, I'm a dance major, so I have a lot of sweaty athletic wear going into my wash every single week, but I've never found any issues with that not coming clean or anything. So I think at least give it a try to wash your clothing on cold and with a normal cycle. So then of course I just let my washing machine do its thing. It only takes like 32 minutes, so I just go like work out or bullet journal, and then of course it is time to dry my clothes. So personally, I really prefer to air dry my clothing on a rack. I just use a normal drying rack I got from like Target or somewhere when I first moved into college, but I do surprisingly see these in thrift stores a lot. So if you're in need of one, maybe you can check a thrift store or Facebook Marketplace for one. But regardless of where you got it, obviously you just hang up all your clothing on that and it just dries just naturally. The water just evaporates into the air. And sometimes I'll also kind of hang stuff on like my bed frame or my doorknobs if I need a little bit of extra space. And this is of course just eco-friendly because you don't have to use a dryer, so again you're saving energy and you're putting your clothing through less stress. But I'm not perfect, and sometimes I do have to use my dryer. Let's say a week I do for some reason have 2 loads of laundry and I just don't have enough space on my drying racks to hang it all up. Or maybe I'm washing my sheets and they're just too big to fit on a drying rack. So sometimes I do use a dryer, but if I just try to think of that as a plan B, it's not my go-to option. And so really the only drawback to hanging your clothing up to dry is that it takes a little bit longer to actually individually hang up each item of clothing, versus with a dryer you can just chuck it all in there. But I really think this is just a small little payoff. You know, I just put on a podcast or some music and the time passes pretty quickly, and I don't mind doing that since I know it is a sustainable thing to do. So then of course I just let everything dry. It usually takes about 24 hours, although it can take a little bit longer if it's a particularly gloomy day like it is today. But then of course I just take everything off, fold it, and put it away, and that concludes my sustainable laundry routine. So if you have any questions about it, or if you have any recommendations for different detergents I should try, definitely leave me a comment down below, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell. You can also go follow me over on Instagram if you'd like. I post tons more content over there about how to live more ethically and sustainably. So if you like what I'm doing here on YouTube, I think you'll like my Instagram as well, so check it out. It'll also be in the description box. But that is really all I have to say, so I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.